Yo, 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 what's up, all you burner stones and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there, Mrs. Weedman?
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Doing great.
I love it. Hey, all you vipers out there in the world, hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. And Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal with something new that was given to me by somebody we met this weekend at the Midwest Terp-Off. And then these guys' names are Midnight Tokers is the name of the brand. And they gave me a pre-roll to smoke on the show. And then it's called OGGM. It's an Nicotamic strain, 7030, created through crossing the GMO and Legend OG strains. The celebrity child boasts insanely high levels of potency with effects that will knock out even the most experienced patients. That being said, mind your dosage with this bud. You have anything to do other than sleep. Oh, great. The high will hit you with a creeping build that will slowly launch you to cloud 9. Your mind will be filled with happy focus and a boost of creativity that is great for taking on any artistic task or conversation on your to-do list. A heavy physical relaxation comes next, filling your entire body with a heavy sense of calm that will lock you to the couch and leave your eyes drooping, Mrs. Weedman. Ooh. The combination can turn sedative, so best be ready for a long and peaceful sleep. Oh, we should have saved this for after the show. No. With these effects, I guess it says here the THC range can be all the way up to like 40%. Geez. Average THC level. OGGM is suggested for experienced patients suffering from conditions such as chronic stress, anxiety, depression, PTSD, headaches or migraines, chronic pain, and insomnia. This bud has a sweet, nutty herbal sage flavor with lightly peppery exhale. The aroma is on a heavier side with a pungent, dank overtone that's extended by grassy diesel and spicy black pepper. OGGM buds have oversized pepper-shaped minty green nugs with bright undertones, thin orange hairs, and tiny golden white crystal trichomes. The effects: body high, creativity, euphoria, focus, relaxing. The relief symptoms of anxiety, chronic pain, depression, headaches, PTSD, stress. Flavors are herbal, nutty, sage, spicy, tree fruit. Aromas are diesel, earthy, gas, herbal, nutty, sage, spicy, tree fruit. I guess they like tree fruit, huh? And that is the strain that was given to us by Midnight Tokers, and the name of the strain is OGGM.
Tasty. I see the tube.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Midnight Tokers, for throwing to the cause. Got a very nice taste. Got a nice cloud out of that. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to have my
I'm
couple
going to pace
hits
myself on that because it's a new strain. We're not used to it. And if it says it's going to knock you out, I want to finish the show.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
We had a very fun weekend this weekend. One, we celebrated our 30th anniversary. On Saturday, we went out for dinner. We went to Shaw's Crab House.
We did.
And then Andy's Jazz Room.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun. But in between meal and Andy's Jazz Room, we took a walk, a stoner walk, to go smoke some weed. And we decided to go walk down by the riverfront. And when we got down there, we were down by the riverfront. We found a little area, and we lit up. Next thing you know, there was two young people. Seems like they were getting ready to go to a show. They were putting on their makeup, and all of a sudden I see that person light up a joint. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then another couple to the right of us walked by.
And stood at the railing and stood there.
And what did they do?
And they were smoking a joint.
And they were smoking a joint. And they lit up a joint. What amazes me about that is nobody was like looking around over their shoulder. They just everybody felt relaxed, and everybody looked at one another and gave everybody a little nod and a wink. And then we started talking to the couple and just bullshit, and it was fun. It was just nice to see people enjoying cannabis together in just their own little setting.
Literally, us 6 people were the only people in this area. We found this kind of, on one side of the river, there's a walk and there's bars and places to gather. On this particular side of the river, there's only kind of like a,
it's where the boats
an
go.
area,
the Wendell boats.
Yeah,
and
or
stuff
there's
like
just like by each building kind of has a riverfront area, and you can walk in it, so you can't get from place to place. So there's not a lot of people on that side. But ironically, us 6 people all figured out that this was a good little spot. Nobody's around. Let's smoke up a joint, and we ended up all doing it together.
Yeah,
it was really
great.
fun.
It was nice. It was an enjoyable time smoking. And then we walked back real stoned. and went to Andy's Jazz Room, and that was our first time there, and enjoyed some great jazz music.
Yeah.
And that's how we celebrated our 30th anniversary.
It was great.
It was great. Food was great. If you've ever been to Shaw's, go check it out. Good sushi. We had I had halibut, and you had perch.
I had lake perch,
which was
yummy.
Oh my god, so good.
Yeah.
Potatoes au gratin were fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
The Brussels sprouts were really good. The sushi was great. The clam chowder was really good. So if you haven't been to Shaw's or Andy's, go check it out. It's a great time over in River North area. And go enjoy yourself some seafood and some great jazz music. That standing bass player was jamming. Boom, 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 boom. A lot of fun. I'd also like to thank Midwest Terps for the Midwest Terps Off. We had a great Sunday with hanging with all the crew there and all the peeps that got to celebrate cannabis in a great setting, and also some winners. It was the salts versus organics, so there was a salt competition, an organics competition, and a round robin competition between the both. What was really weird that in the salts category, there's one grower breeder won both first and second place. Crazy. And then in the organics, there's one breeder won first and second place.
Yeah, and these were essentially blind competitions.
Yes.
So yeah, the judges weren't knowing that these were both coming from the same person.
Right. Yeah, it was all done
cool.
by the Gangiers and it was great. Danny did a great job announcing it, and De La Fleur was the MC. They did a great job. Great music. The DJ was jamming out some great hip hop. I was enjoying the hip hop all day long, and and then there was a ton of growers and breeders there, and not too many vendors like ourselves. I think a handful, like 5. You got a really nice painted picture. We'll show it on the episode next week. This woman who just does it in her house, phenomenal joint artist. Yes, it was so cool. So not a ton of vendors, but more people showing off their genetics and showing off like some of our faves. You know, Goat Genetics was there, who we've smoked on the show. Love Green Culture was there. We've smoked some of his stuff on the show before too, and a few others that we've known. So I just want to thank Midwest Terps for throwing a good shindig. It was a lot of fun.
It was
for your first one. I'm proud of you. Proud of what you accomplished, and I know it's not always easy putting events together. So great job. One thing I will suggest: fans.
It was a cloud.
There was at one point it got so cloudy in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like holy shit, this place is one big cloud. I mean, you got people. You mean probably a couple hundred people there, plus all the vendors and everyone smoking, dabbing. So I mean, it was cloudy. Yeah. And there's no ventilation. You had air conditioning and stuff, but there's no windows open and stuff like that. So I suggest just like 4 fans, so it just blows it around. And
and a cracked door.
Yes, yeah, a cracked door would be great. So that was my only thing I'd have to say about it. Was we need a little circulation, but everything else was
Airflow.
great. Yeah, great job,
Yeah,
E&T putting it together. And what is their partner's name?
Myra.
What is
Tommy.
What is her code name?
It's 420 Baby.
420 Baby. Yes.
So it was great.
Great job putting it together. Anything you had to say about that, Mr. Weedman?
Mrs. Weedman?
Yeah, Mr. Weedman.
I think you called me Mr. Weedman.
I did? Oh, sorry.
No, it was a really nice event, and DJs were great. There was some local talent. There was a young
hip-hop artist,
yep. And then the DJ. We didn't try any of the infused food because we were consuming quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it was really a good event.
Yes.
Solid.
Yeah, the food was solid. They had someone that made some fresh empanadas. They had another person.
Oh, we did have empanadas.
Yeah, there was another person there that was doing infused fettuccine Alfredo. I just didn't want to. I was already too high and I didn't want to eat. And then they had a hibachi grill outside and a food truck. Yeah, which was really cool. Yeah, it was nice. It was great to see. There were some people selling edibles there too, which was great. It was just a great time, and I enjoyed rolling joints for people. And thank you, Igneous and Midwest Terps, for sponsoring the table and throwing me some weed to give out to people. Igneous came hard, and I got to meet a friend of his that he's been helping learn how to grow for many years, and looking forward to trying his weed too in the future. He's a medical grower, and Big P, we'll call him. Keep it safe, Big P, and I'm looking forward to trying his weed too in the future. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the next event. I don't know when or where we're going to be at next, but we'll let y'all know once we know. Something crazy. I love whales, dolphins, marine mammals, let's just say. All the different types. I love fish. I've always had, when I was a kid growing up, dolphins on the wall or whale, some kind of whale. But we always loved the humpback whale. Right? And you've always been intrigued with the big, long fins.
When I was a kid, that was one of my Christmas presents. I got a book about humpback whales.
Humpback whales, and
it was great.
They communicate very well with their harmony of tones that they sound project through the ocean that the other humpbacks can hear from miles away. But scientists are finding that humpbacks are blowing rings to speak to us.
It's cute.
It's very cute. And I've seen humpback whales hunt before for fish where they would blow rings. They would all go in a circle and they would swim and they would blow rings in the center to scare the fish to the top. And one humpback or two humpback whales would come in the middle and just scoop them up. And they do it as a team. This is not for that. They're trying to communicate with us. And scientists have photographed humpback whales blowing bubble rings to communicate with us. And a team of scientists from the SETI Institute, the University of California at Davis, took captured images of 11 whales producing 39 different bubble rings across 12 different instances. And I was looking at all the different bubble rings. The one that I noticed right away, and I don't think they're communicating on this one, it was slide number 4.
I just looked at that one too.
That is how they fish. And I've seen enough. See, I'm a animal show buff. How many shows we watch? I've watched since I was a kid, and I've done a lot of I had those books as a kid about different animals, and my parents got me and stuff like that. Every year you got a new, or every month you got a new one, and so I was always in tune learning about animals. And when I had to take science courses, I always geared to like zoology or marine biology because that's what I was into. But this one is the way they feed. They're not communicating on this one. This one is fake news. The one that I'm looking at, E4, is how they fish. I'm everything else probably E6 too, you know. So I think, but it's really neat though how they blow like a circle, like a smoke ring. Like when someone blows a smoke ring out of their mouth, it's like a perfect circle. It's crazy. So the scientists believe that the humpback whales may be sending large bubble rings, similar to how a person might blow smoke rings during friendly interactions with humans. The researchers say these bubbles. Rings may represent a novel form of non-human expression or curiosity. It was a paper published by the Marine Mammal Service. The scientists say that this rarely known behavior may serve as a form of play or communication. While humpback whales are already known to use bubbles to hunt, Mr. Weedman knows, these new observations suggest a more social and possibly playful purpose behind the bubble ring. Humpback whales often exhibit inquisitive, friendly behavior towards boats and human swimmers, unless you're swimming in a kayak and you get swallowed by one.
Remember that guy? We talked about him.
We did. So the marine wildlife photographer says that in a press release, we've now located a dozen whales from populations around the world, the majority of which have voluntarily approached boats and swimmers blowing bubble rings during curious behavior. I think it's great. So there's a bunch of different bubble rings productions were made in presence of human swimmers near the whales, and 6 of the 12 had more than one whale present. The team reported no signs of aggression towards either humans or other whales during these events. Instead, the whales appeared calm, perhaps even curious, suggesting a relaxed, inquisitive state. These bubble rings were observed in Hawaii, the Dominican Republic, Mora, and off the U.S. Atlantic coast. That's pretty cool. Whales trying to tell us something. Like
so we always talk about, like, when there's a post, what's the first comment? Because it's usually the funniest.
Yes.
So, well, this isn't necessarily funny, but the first comment was, I bet it's actually a declaration of war. All right.
I liked another comment, from which side does the gas come out of?
Another guy, it's super loud down here. Go back to sales.
Whales should be pissed off at us, though. 400 years of hunting, like recklessly hunting. It's not like we're Eskimos or using it for food and blubber. And, we've hunted whales to almost extinction at some points and have extinct some whales. And there's still countries that still hunt whales, which is just a shame.
Terrible.
Yes, so terrible. So, and fishing nets that used to hunt tuna catches millions of dolphins a year, and it's just a terrible, terrible thing that we do to our marine life, and we overfish and overfish for greed, and it's terrible. We waste more. 93% of the large fish, not mammal fish, but the large fish that we fish for, like let's just say tuna, marlin, swordfish, big sharks, all those kind of bigger, dominant fish in the sea. 93% of them have been extinct. Not extinct, but wiped out. There's only like 7% of large fish left in the ocean due to overfishing and over, and that's not including all the net fishing we do and how much we ruin all of the fishing floors with those dragging nets and just what we do. I think all net
How about all the pollution ruining the coral, the reefs?
Too. Yeah, killing what
microplastics.
Well, they're finding out too that most of the more oxygen comes from the ocean than it does from the trees in the Amazon, and we're killing all that. Also, you see if you're anywhere in the southern hemisphere right now between Mexico and Florida and all those areas, you're living in a world of hurt with all the seaweed that's been landing on your beaches, and the hurt, it stinks.
It's like spagum or something.
Oh my gosh.
Spagum season.
And it's overgrown because the oceans are warming. The oceans are warming so much. So there's so much problems that we do in this world as humanity.
Sargassum.
So thank you. Has ass-gasm too, I heard, pretty stinky. But it's just what we're doing to this world and what we do every day to overfish and over pollute and just for greed and for money instead of looking what we actually really need to survive. We don't need to overfish for that. We could probably go half, and I think large fishing nets should be banned illegally. If you can't catch it with your hands, or if you can't catch it with a pole, then you don't fish. You know how much we would save the ocean, that way, and how much we could repopulate everything. I mean, oh my God, if you ever watch any videos about fishing nets and how much they take out, but then also how much we dump back in, like how much.
How about all of the food that goes in a garbage can?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right,
we overconsume and just over
and the product that doesn't even ever get sold.
Right, just goes in the garbage.
Yeah,
or it goes to feed. It's just sad, but. Humpback whales, if you're communicating, say, fuck you, you're screwing up. Is how small we are compared to a whale, but we can kill a whale very easily, compared to them killing us, and they don't want to. We need to live in harmony with animals and nature. It's crazy. So, oh man, I just got all set and tired. And
the weeds making you
really down,
sappy.
Well, let's get positive, Mrs. Weedman. You ready to get the show started? Let's do this. Marijuana market incentives may be reducing biodiversity in the plant, causing a bottlenecking of cannabis genetics, new study says. This article is taking a deep dive into some eye-opening findings that should have every grower, breeder, and true cannabis aficionado raising an eyebrow or passing the Dutchie, the right, center, or left. So I'm talking genetics, biodiversity, and how market forces might be ganging up on the rich legacy of cannabis strains we've cultivated for centuries. A fresh academic thesis from Cal Poly Humboldt, shout out to Caleb Y. Chen, is painting a pretty wild picture. Get this, our love for faster flower harvest, higher THC levels, and consistent terpene profiles might be squeezing the genetic variety out of the plant altogether. It's causing a full-on bottlenecking of cannabis genetics. So let me break it down for y'all. The bottleneck breakdown. Speed and yield rules the game. Prohibition breeders are zeroing in on tariffs. Post-prohibition breeders are zeroing in on traits that matter most to the legal market. Rapid flowering, max cannabinoid output, big yields, and lab-tested terpene consistency. Legendary strains out there that we've known, from when we were all younger that aren't around anymore. There's one in here called Dr. Greenspoon that they mentioned. There's a lot out there, that you can't find anymore. So it's too slow, too niche. There's deeper magic in there we're ignoring. Wild. What wild? What wild and wild and wild? It's wild. So wild.
Are you reading or
no?
Are you stuck on the word wild?
No, there's just wild. Wild and landrace cannabis. Wild cannabis. Like out in the world. Wild.
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 Wild?
Wild. What wild?
Mr. Weedman, is it wild?
It's so wild.
Wild. That's wild. That's wild.
A word right now everybody uses now.
The more you say it.
Wild.
The weirder it sounds.
Yeah. Wild and landrace cannabis. Pretty much a ghost of history now. The studies suggest true wild genetics are extinct or almost extinct. What's left are feral escapees. Even the remaining landrace strains in places like Morocco, Jamaica, Thailand, Mexico, and India are falling to the wind-blown pollen from commercial hybrids. Economic pressure as cannabis becomes commoditized. Farm-level genetic flower is in most dispensaries. Breeders chase yield and strength to survive. Craft is now the outliers, not the norm. Why it all matters. Medicinal potential has everything bottlenecked in the gene pool. You lose out on milder cannabinoids, rare terpenes, and unique healing compounds. For example, breeders swear it gives a distinct high even without record-setting numbers, like a Dr. Greenspoon, for example. There may be something special in the genetic footprint. Future strains, innovation breeding relies on variability. If we narrow the gene pool, we limit the next wave of breakthroughs, like more effective pain relief, anxiety help, or custom terp profiles. Cross-pollinations problems, hybrid pollen drifting into landrace regions erodes purity and value of indigenous strains. Once lost, that heritage is gone for good. What the study recommends: policy overhaul. Regulators should actually take the impact of breeding incentives into account. Seeing that policies encouraging yield and THC above all else could be silently killing diversity. The research inclusions. Academic breeding research should integrate breeder voices because the hands-on grower instincts matter and may help protect the kinds of diversity that lab metrics ignore. Genetic marker development. On the innovation tip, other studies like from university level are mapping cannabinoid markers, 33 of them, so breeders have more tools to preserve and purposely design the unique traits. Picture this. You're a breeder in Thailand. You got some rare landrace strain that's got the next level high. But wind from a nearby mega farm drifts in and bada boom, bada bing. Next harvest is half bred, half hybrid. It's like your grandma's secret recipe getting replaced by burger mix. Ain't that some straight disrespect, Mrs. Weedman?
Yeah.
Here's the takeaway, the big one. The legal market push for uniformity, faster, stronger, bigger, is narrowing cannabis genetic diversity. Landraces are disappearing while genetics are basically extinct. Medicinal potential and future innovation are at risk. We've got to push back. Support craft breeding like we were at this Sunday. All craft breeders there. Champion genetic conservation and push policy that keeps diversity alive. That's going to be tough to do because we're all a bunch of profits and margins, so it's going to be tough to do, but they will. There's a bunch of good craft breeders out there, guys that have been doing it and gals that have been doing it for a long time that have some genetics stored away that hopefully we'll see again. I was talking to some guys on Sunday from New York. Actually, two of them are from Michigan, one's from New York, and he's trying to bring back a lot of the old skunk strains and trying to reproduce them. Yeah, he actually gave me a pack of seeds. I gave one to Igneous to grow, and I kept one. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, he's trying to bring back a lot of the old skunk strains that we don't see anymore. So that gives me hope. Yeah. So CBD from cannabis could help reduce alcohol binge drinking, this study shows. Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Yeah, this is a big one. The cannabinoid CBD reduces rates of binge drinking and alcohol blood concentrations, a new study of mice indicates. Using what they call a murine drinking in the dark research model, scientists at the University of Sydney investigated the theory that non-intoxicating cannabidiol could mitigate problematic drinking issues. These experiments consistently showed a dose-dependent suppression of alcohol consumption by CBD, the paper concludes. The study, published in the journal British Journal of Pharmacology with funding from the Australian National Health and Medical Research Council, found that CBD represents a promising candidate to reduce voluntary alcohol consumption. Mechanisms driving CBD's alcohol-related effects remain unclear and may involve polypharmacology, including actions at the neuropeptide S receptor, as identified in the study, researchers said. The present findings showed a clear dose-dependent inhibition by CBD of binge-like ethanol consumption in male and female mice. This effect was supported by blood ethanol concentration data and could not be attributed to sedation because CBD did not alter locomotor activity. CBD suppressed drinking with acute administration, and the effect was maintained when CBD was administered subchronically, indicating the effect was not subject to tolerance. CBD presents as a promising novel pharmacotherapy for problematic alcohol use. However, how CBD generates alcohol-related benefits is yet to be determined, the study says. Unraveling CBD's mechanisms may direct the development of safer, more effective alcohol use disorder therapeutics. Results of a separate study published in the journal Molecular Psychiatry also indicated that a single 800 milligram dose of CBD can help manage certain alcohol cravings among people with alcohol use disorder, or AUD, supporting the use of the marijuana component as a potential treatment option for problem drinkers. Federally funded research into the effects of cannabis on alcohol use that was published last month also found that people who use marijuana immediately before drinking subsequently consumed fewer alcoholic beverages and reported lower cravings for alcohol. The study follows a separate survey analysis published in March that found that 3 in 4 young adults reported substituting cannabis for alcohol at least once per week, a fast emerging trend that reflects the rapid expansion of the hemp-produced marketplace. The report from Bloomberg Intelligence found that across various demographics, cannabis is increasingly being used as an alternative to alcohol, and even non-alcoholic beverages, as more companies, including major multi-state marijuana operators, or MSOs, are expanding their offerings. The findings were largely consistent with a growing body of studies indicating that cannabis, whether federally legal hemp or still prohibited marijuana, is being utilized as a substitute for many Americans. An earlier survey from YouGov, for example, found that a majority of Americans believe regular alcohol consumption is more harmful than regular marijuana use. Even so, more adults said that personally they prefer drinking alcohol to consuming cannabis despite the health risks. That's stigma. That's just old theories and fear of the unknown, right? Yep. A separate poll released in January determined that half or more than half of marijuana consumers say that they drink less alcohol or none at all after using cannabis. Yet another survey, which was supported by the National Institute on Drug Abuse and released in December, found that young adults are nearly 3 times more likely to use marijuana than alcohol on a daily or near daily basis. That poll provided more granular, age-specific findings than a similar report published last year, finding that more Americans overall smoke marijuana on a daily basis than drink alcohol every day, and that alcohol drinkers are more likely to say they would benefit from limiting their use than cannabis consumers are. A separate study published in the journal Addiction last year similarly found that there are more U.S. adults who use marijuana daily than who drink alcohol every day.
Yay.
In December, results of a survey indicated that substitution of cannabis for alcohol is soaring as the state-level legalization movement expands and relative perception of harms shift. A significant portion of Americans also said that in that poll that they substitute marijuana for cigarettes and painkillers. Another analysis from last September projected that the expansion of marijuana legalization movement will continue to pose a significant threat to the alcohol industry, citing survey data that suggests more people are using cannabis as a substitute for alcohol beverages, such as beer and wine. Yet another study on the impact of marijuana consumption on people's use of other drugs that was released in December suggested that for many, cannabis may act as a less dangerous substitute allowing people to reduce their intake of substances such as alcohol, methamphetamine, and opioids like morphine. A study out of Canada, where marijuana is federally legal, found that legalization was associated with a decline in beer sales, suggesting a substitution effect. A recent Gallup survey found that respondents view cannabis as less harmful than alcohol, tobacco, and nicotine vapes, and more adults now smoke cannabis than smoke cigarettes. Impressive. A separate survey released by the American Psychiatric Association and Morning Consult last June also found that Americans consider marijuana to be significantly less dangerous than cigarettes, alcohol, and opioids, and they say cannabis is less addictive than each of those substances as well as technology. Meanwhile, a leading alcohol industry association is calling on Congress to dial back language and a House committee-approved spending bill that would ban most consumable hemp products, instead proposing to maintain the legalization of naturally derived cannabinoids from the crop and only prohibit synthetic items. So we'll see how that goes.
We'll see.
Yes.
The great extract deception. How cannabis consumers are being bamboozled by buzzwords. All right, I'm going to say, before I talk about and beat the shit out of Distillate for a minute here, you want to learn more about Distillate, listen to the last episode I did with Wolfman and Big Earl on the Grow Hour. He really dives into Distillate. But I'm not here. There's a lot of companies that make money off of Distillate. I'm not here to beat up any company. I'm here to talk about just the misconception about it.
There you go. Fair enough.
Fair enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would I be? What kind of weed man would I be without telling an honest opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what's poppin', fam? We're diving into the great extract deception. How legit consumers are getting bamboozled by fancy extract buzzwords. It's a deep one, so pass the dab and let's get a roll on. Extract marketing. All hype, little soul. Labels like distillate, isolate, live resin, nano-emulsification, terp enhance. They pop up everywhere, sounding premium. But here's the kicker. Twisting complex chemistry and shiny jargon doesn't automatically mean quality. In fact, a lot of these ultra-processed extracts are just that, processed. Stripped down concentrates with zero heart. It's just like in the world of advertising. Any product, right? Any good advertising company, or you have a marketing team that went to school for this, learns how to put words to make you intrigued, to make you want to buy something, to make you say, I need that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've taught me that years ago. I've learned that in business, and I've learned it just companies use words to, and colors. Yellow, I didn't know this until like 2001. Yellow and why do you think McDonald's, Burger King, Denny's use yellow and red?
Because it correlates happiness and home.
There you go, and it draws you to it.
Yeah,
you know. So, distillate and isolate, the emperor's new clothes. Let me break this down. Distillate and isolate often come from the lowest tier plant material, shake, trim, or ancient biomass. Extraction removes the soul. No terps, no minor cannabinoids, no unique cultivar fingerprint. What's left? Pure THC. So they slap on the label made or artificial terps, and boom. So they slap on the lab with artificial terps. When you see something, when you ask like what kind of terps are in there, some people will say they're terps from, they're not terps from cannabis. The terps from cannabis is very volatile.
Mm-hmm.
They don't last more than like 2 weeks if you have them outside the pure flower.
So they're pulling them from other plants.
They're pulling them from
fruits,
other plants.
vegetables,
yes,
things like that.
Yes, or creating them in the lab.
Mm-hmm. Synthetic.
Yes. So they slap the label on, made of artificial terps, and boom, marketed as gourmet. but it's full of empty calories. It's like calling a fast food burger gourmet just because it's sprinkled with truffle oil. Isolate, maybe? Next level emptiness, just a single cannabinoid, no aroma, no flavor, no soul at all. Why the big brands dig it? Why's this a thing? Low quality ops love distillate and isolate. They're cheap to make. Failed crops are extracted, filtered down to major cannabinoids, and rebranded as innovative. Fancy labels and insane potency claims tricks consumers to believe they're getting the next gen extract, when really they're paying for processed goop with artificial flavor. What's the cost for craft cannabis? This marketing op pushes quality producers off the shelf. Real growers and hash makers, those preserving ancient cultivars, full spectrum profiles, and care, they're being overshadowed. Meanwhile, consumers are missing out on that layered, full-bodied, terp-driven experience and left wondering why they feel nothing with these shelf-stable THC goop. Time to wake up. Here's a call to action, folks. Don't let buzzwords fool you. Ask how the extract's made. Distillate or full-spectrum rosin? Who grew the material? Trim or finished flower? Are terp actually plant-derived or lab-engineered? Is it strain-specific or just a THC delivery system wearing fancy clothes? Not all extracts suck, but when your box touts distillate as a selling feature, that's a red flag. Support brands who treat cannabis like craft, not a commodity. And your high will thank you. I noticed that big time.
Mm-hmm.
So picture this. You walk into the spot. They're hyping a premium live resin dab so hard. You take a hit. Ick. No flavor, no zing, just buzzed disappointment. How did it turn out to be live? Seems like a marketing dream, not reality. It's almost criminal. The final puff, Mrs. Weedman. Distillate and isolate equals often empty THC stripped of plant richness. Fancy buzzwords equal cheap tricks. Craft full spectrum equals authentic layered cannabis magic. Stay sharp. Look beyond labeling, deemed quality, and support real growers. All right, fam. That's your Extract 101 from me. Drop a comment, though, in our YouTube. Subscribe to it and drop a comment on there about your extract experience. I'd love to hear about it. If you've been duped by the marketing buzzword, let us know. Smash that subscribe button on YouTube for us, please. And toss in a review and keep it lit, fam. Over to you, Mrs. Weedman. Tell us about your next article.
Yeah. An overlooked part of the cannabis plant shows medical potential. Even more good things are coming from this wonderful plant. Cannabis sativa is one of the most widely researched plants, with thousands of studies looking at the plant's medicinal potential. Most studies and people focus on the trichomes, flowers, or fan leaves of the plant due to their high concentration of cannabidiol, CBD, and tetrahydrocannabinol, THC. However, one part of the plant that has been vastly overlooked may actually have important medicinal benefits. A new study from Pharmacological Research, Natural Products, found that the smaller sugar leaves, which are typically wasted during the harvesting of CBD and THC, may have significant therapeutic potential in cancer, diabetes, and inflammation treatments. The researchers also found that the sugar leaves may offer a much larger amount of CBD and THC, along with 35 other pharmacologically active compounds than previously assumed. In the study, scientists performed a chemical analysis on extracts from the sugar leaves and then conducted multiple in vitro tests to see how effective the extract was against different health problems. The extracts, which included CBD, THC, terpene, and flavonoid compounds, presented the highest activity against breast cancer cells, Second to the breast cancer cells was its effectiveness against lung cancer cells, followed by liver and colorectal cancer cells. Similarly, the sugar leaf compounds demonstrated significant anti-diabetic activity. The researchers found that the compounds inhibited the enzymes involved in digesting carbohydrates. Inhibiting these enzymes can reduce blood sugar levels, helping manage diabetes. Wow. Those sweet little sugar. I love those little leaves.
Love my sugar leaf.
So cute.
Never get rid of those.
Mm-hmm. After the cell tests, the researchers ran computer simulations to see how the compounds identified in the sugar leaf extracts might interact with these enzymes. The computer simulations corroborated the lab results, showing the compounds effectively interfering with enzyme activities. Beyond inhibiting the enzymes involved in diabetes, the sugar leaf extracts were also tested to see if they could neutralize harmful oxidants, like nitric oxide, which can contribute to inflammation when overproduced. Through ABTS and DPPH tests, which are the most common way to test antioxidant activity, the researchers found high antioxidant activity in the sugar leaf extracts, as well as potential nitric oxide inhibition.
Good to keep the yang up.
Traditionally considered as a byproduct of the cannabis cultivation, sugar leaves offer a sustainable and cost-effective resource that may contribute to the health and wellness of human beings, wrote the authors in the study. Despite this being the first study on the chemical composition of sugar leaves, this research provides strong initial evidence of the potential value in these leaves that are typically thrown out. Not only are there potential medicinal advantages, but utilizing sugar leaves also reduces waste by maximizing the plant material that is used. However, further research is necessary to confirm these preliminary findings beyond a molecular level.
There you go, molecular.
Boom.
Molecular.
Yeah, sugar leaves. I always thought, I would remember whenever you're trimming, I'm like,
I don't get rid of those sugar leaves.
Right. Put them in a smoothie.
I keep some of them on the plant too, and then maybe trim them off later on, while before we smoke, because sometimes they can be a little harsh, but I've smoked, I actually even took some sugar leaf and added it to my weed. And
sometimes when we make butter.
Oh, we use all the sugar leaf.
We use all
butter.
those.
Oh, yeah. That goes in a jar if they're too big and I don't want them on my plant. But if they're smaller, I usually keep them on. And sugar leaf is phenomenal. I mean, oh my God, when you rub a little bit on your finger and sniff, boy, man, that is yummy. Delicious. So this one's written by our friend Reginald Reefer. I don't really know him as a person, but I like to call him my friend because I love how he writes. But what I did was I kind of cut this down a little bit because his articles are always very long. So I summarized it, but this is a good one. The cancer-fighting plant they don't want you to know about. Massive study reveals truth about cannabis and cancer. We're diving into the cancer-fighting plant they don't want you to know about. Massive study reveals truth about cannabis. Here's a massive meta-analysis that digs into cannabis cancer-fighting potential. Yeah, you heard it right. Cannabis may not just treat symptoms. It might be doing something heavy lifting against cancer cells. Let's blaze through the details. The big picture. Meta-analysis moves the needle. Earlier this year, researchers dropped what they call the largest meta-analysis ever in medical cannabis and cancer. They combed through over 10,600 peer-reviewed studies and found that they called an overwhelming scientific consensus on therapeutic benefits for cancer-related symptoms and even potential anti-cancer action. The headline: for every one study that said cannabis doesn't work, there was 3 that said it does. That's pretty big. Palliative effects, direct inhibition of tumors, the whole deal, Mrs. Weedman. What researchers found? Here are the high points. Symptoms Relief Authority. Massive scientific agreement that cannabis helps manage pain, nausea, appetite issues, everyday cancer woes. Cell-level firepower. Lab and preclinical studies show that cannabis can reduce tumor growth, block cancer spread, and even promote cancer cell death via apoptosis and autophagy. You like that, Mrs. Weedman? Mm-hmm. I practice. Anti-inflammatory bonus. Cancer often fueled by inflammation, and cannabis brings powerful anti-inflammatory gain. that 3-to-1 ratio in favor of cannabis. They said it rivals or exceeds many FDA-approved drugs. Whoa. But hold up. What's not proven yet, though? Most of the tumor-killing action is from lab dishes and animal models. Awesome initial results, but not the same as human clinical proof. Plus, big academic players like Cancer Research UK and U.S. National Cancer Institute say, yeah, promising, but not enough human proof yet. Cancer is complicated, and treating it safely and effectively in people takes serious trials. Even the cancer risk side is murky. Some data shows long-term heavy cannabis use might slightly raise testicular cancer risk, but other cancers show no clear link. Why it matters. Policy pressure valve. With the meta-analysis in hand, advocates have more ammo to push for rescheduling or descheduling cannabis and funding large clinical trials. The research roadmap. We've seen symptom relief. Now it's time to prove or refute anti-cancer efficacy in well-designed human studies. Consumer clarity. Folks using cannabis now need informed guidance, dosage formulations, realistic exceptions. Not miracle cures, but real therapy potential. Picture this. You hit the dispensary, right, Mrs. Weedman? The bud tender's going. The strain cures cancer, bro. Are you thinking? Slow your roll, friend, because right now the science is maybe, but we still got to go to medical school, not just smoke school. How we walk the walk. Support trials and transparency. Back compassion programs and legit clinical trials. No snake oil miracle claims. Know what you're using. Full spectrum versus isolate. Dosing, delivery method matters. Consult the experts. Work with doctors who know about cannabis. Dispensaries that have a medical oversight, not Instagram sound bites. People on Instagram, I'm not saying all of them, but some people claim to be experts and they're not. So, cannabis is earning respect in the cancer world and cancer care, but we're not a cure territory yet. So stay curious, Ms. Weedman, stay informed, and keep demanding real science. Science, not the hype. Good article by Reginald Reefer. I cut it down, though.
That's okay.
That article was shoo. So, but he's a good journalist. I like what he writes. CBD shows promise in easing behavior challenges in autism. Pretty big. Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
A new clinical trial found that cannabidiol, or CBD, is safe and potentially helpful in reducing problematic behaviors in boys with severe autism. While broad behavioral measures showed no significant difference from placebo, clinicians observed meaningful improvements in aggression, hyperactivity, and communication in many children taking CBD. 2/3 of the participants were noted to have some clinical improvement, despite a strong placebo effect across both groups. The results suggest that CBD may hold therapeutic potential, but further research is essential to confirm its effectiveness. Researchers at the Center for Medicinal Cannabis Research at the University of California, San Diego School of Medicine have found that cannabidiol, or CBD, a non-intoxicating compound found in cannabis, could help reduce problematic behaviors in autistic boys. These results provide valuable insight into the potential benefits and limitations of CBD as a therapeutic intervention for autism. Autism spectrum disorder is a complex neurodevelopmental condition characterized by social communication difficulties, repetitive behaviors, and restricted interests. In more severe cases, these behaviors can also include self-injury and aggression. While existing treatments can help manage these symptoms, there is a pressing need for effective and safe intervention to address the diverse needs of autistic individuals. Some prior studies have suggested that CBD could help reduce problematic behaviors in children with autism. However, no controlled clinical trials have addressed safety, tolerability, and efficacy of this treatment approach until now. In the trial, autistic boys with severe behavioral problems aged 7 to 14 years were split into 2 groups. One received 8 weeks of daily CBD, then 8 weeks of placebo, separated by a 4-week washout period in which no treatment was given. The other group received placebo first, then CBD. Behavioral assessments were completed before and after each treatment phase. A total of 30 participants completed the trial. The researchers found that CBD was safe and well tolerated in boys with severe autism and behavioral problems, and participants were able to take the drug without difficulty, and there were no serious adverse events. And while no significant differences were found between CBD and placebo on broad measures of behavior, clinician impressions suggested that approximately 2/3 of participants showed evidence of clinical improvement with CBD. Reductions in aggressive behaviors and hyperactivity were observed most frequently by clinicians, with improvements in communication seen in almost 30% of participants. While both groups showed improvement during the study, demonstrating a strong placebo effect, the CBD group generally showed greater improvement than the placebo group. The study's findings suggest that while CBD may have some benefits in reducing problematic behaviors in autistic children, its effectiveness is not yet universally established. The study's results also underscore the importance of rigorous, controlled trials in evaluating the efficacy of novel treatments for autism. The study, published in the Journal of Autism and Developmental Disorders, was led by UC San Diego School of Medicine distinguished professors Doris Trauner, MD, in the Department of Neurosciences and Pediatrics, and Igor Grant, MD, in the Department of Psychiatry.
Nice.
Interesting.
It's crazy how much autism has now. Back when we were kids, it was 1 in 30,000. Now it's like 1 in like
5.
Something crazy.
Well, and there's a spectrum. You understand. We have a family member who is on the spectrum, and he has a lot of overlap. And so basically they look at characteristics, and if you don't meet all of the criteria of autism, then you fall into the autism spectrum. And basically it's like if they can't quite figure out what's wrong, but you have enough of these features, you're just kind of grouped into that.
Right.
Yeah. Generalization.
It's crazy.
But he in particular did like cannabis for a while. He was really interested in using it and he liked it. But I think that he has kind of scaled back on it.
Yeah. He doesn't really drink either. He has a beer every now and then too. It's just not his thing. So he's a good boy though.
He is. He's an adult.
Yes, he is an adult. Young adult. Hey everybody, don't forget to check out 8decades.com. Mrs. Weedman's baby. Check out 8decades.com for all your cannabis accessory needs. We have the greatest, most unbelievablest, incrediblest smokes tray, rolling tray, tool set, ashtray, and manageable. 16 gauge stainless steel, dishwasher safe, curved edges so your weed don't fall out. Use the scoop to put in your bowl. We actually now have a nice video. Mrs. Weedman was packing her dugout, her hitter box, and used the grinder, put it on the tray, scooped it up with our scoop, and put it in the hitter box, and you got the tamper on the other end. That didn't look too good, did it, Mrs. Weedman? And hey, I like when you do it better. So when you did a great job packing that up, and then your little oney on the other side and the little dugout, it was great. That tool works amazing. So check it out. Check out our clothing line. Check out our steamroller, one of our most popular items. Everybody loves a good old steamroller. So check out 8decades.com, everybody, for all your cannabis accessory needs. Right, Ms. Weedman?
Yeah, and I will just make a little note that our smoke set is the original smoke set that we created, and it is now going to be a very limited edition smoke set because of our wonderful tariffs.
Yes.
So get one before they're gone. You'll never have a 16 gauge stainless steel smoke set if you don't have ours.
Not from us. So after that one, then we'll have to scale it down a lot.
We're going to have to change design a little bit.
So, but get one of these limited editions, 8 decades limited editions. So, it'll be yours for free shipping over $100. Yeah, forever. So check it out. I have 3 of them. I love them all. Actually 4. I have an original one, like the prototype too. So I have 4 in our. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and in my briefcase too, 5. I have 5. I'm special. Check out 8decades.com, everybody. Thank you for the support. If you support 8decades.com, you support us, and we keep on doing this show for you every week. So thank you very much. Political, state, and business news. Missouri's hemp crew is plotting a 2026 ballot to merge hemp and marijuana rules like booze regulations. Marijuana folks say it'd gut the 2022 legalization. Hemp says it's just fairness. Big showdown brewing in the Show Me State. Yo, Missouri, about to mix up hemp and weed into one mega playground. Hope that don't shake the legalization tree too hard. Maryland cashed in over $17.5 million. I know that weed just fucking cashed in over $17.5 million in cannabis taxes from January to March of 2025. Central region led with nearly $8 million. Starting July, tax jumps to 9%, 12% fueling community programs and state's general fund. Maryland's getting pretty lit. Most revenue than your rent. Hope they cash in to the good stuff, Mrs. Weedman. Maryland Governor, though, Wes Moore, just pardoned nearly 7,000 misdemeanor cannabis convictions, on top of the 175,000 last year, and rolled out $400 million homeownership push for underserved communities. Juneteenth justice, baby. Maryland's cleaning records and building homes. Talk about that epic glow up. Ooh, you're going deep, huh?
I am.
You'll be in a minute. That weed has got me.
Yeah?
Oh, it's great. No, I love it. It just got me in slow motion for me.
Oh.
No, not you?
Not really.
It said creative and boost, but then it will lay you in the couch later.
Well, then you got to smoke more.
Yeah, I do. Senate's new bill might federally ban cannabis candies, gummies, lollipops, THC drinks, labeling them as candy flavor to protect kids. Critics warn it overrides state edible rules, limits adult dosing options, and could hurt small businesses. Big debate ahead on child safety versus choice. Looks like Uncle Sam's ready to take the candy jar away. Hope they don't bust your gummy stash. I know. They'll be fighting. Nebraska smoke shop owner faces felony charges after 2 customers overdosed. Testing showed THC products tainted with mushrooms, psilocybin. With unregulated hemp-derived THC flooding gaps in medical cannabis access, it's cautionary tale. Safe lab-tested weed matters. Nebraska, you have medical. Get that shit going. FDA just dropped warning letters on companies selling unapproved cannabis-derived products. CBD, Delta-8, especially in foods, pet stuff, and flashy edibles. They're targeting misleading candy packaging and health claims to protect consumers and kids. Big compliance shakeup ahead. Looks like FDA's busting out the big sticks. Connecticut recreational cannabis hits a new record, $18 million in August, with 467,000 adult use products sold, an average price dipping below 12 grams for the first time since December of 2023. Demand booming while prices soften. Next stop, mass market momentum. Connecticut's cashing in big, folks. Greener wallets, greener herb, price dropping. That's a gift for our stash game. Northern California cannabis growers and conservationists teamed up using cannabis tax revenue to restore sediment hit watershed across 40-plus sites, feeding the Mad Trinity and Maddle rivers. Projects include stabilizing roads, fixing stream banks, removing ponds, and native planting to help salmon and amphibians thrive. Eco wins thanks to the weed. Almost 100 cannabis and drug policy groups called out Meta for shadow banning and censoring legal cannabis. Well, on the last episode, I talked about that we're loosening, but you have over 100 cannabis and drug policy groups sent for all their shadow banning, censoring legal cannabis, psychedelics, and harm reduction on content. Facebook and Instagram, suppressing vital public health, science, and advocacy info. They're demanding transparency, appeals, and respect for evidence-based discourse. Meta's playing hide and seek with our post. Time to stop ghosting the ganja gurus.
Yeah. Like
Mr. Weedman here. Still haven't gone back. Mrs. Weedman and I were talking about that the other night. And I said, I just don't know if I'm ready yet. I keep on putting, every time we talk about starting a new account, then I just fold away for a second and I'll talk about it again for a minute.
I think I'm good.
I do miss the Vipers, though. To all you Vipers out there.
Mm-hmm.
Congress could bypass the slow DEA, HHS, and reschedule marijuana faster via legalization, with more flexibility and fewer court hurdles, according to new Congressional Research Service report. They say lawmakers can act directly, avoiding drawn-out administrative delays and treaty complications. Big power move brewing in D.C. Sounds like Congress might just skip the weed DMV. Why wait months when you can get green light it pronto? Mrs. Weedman, you didn't even share. You didn't even ask. I'm so disappointed.
You were reading. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Santa Barbara County.
Hey, Mr. Weedman. You want to smoke?
Mrs. Weedman.
Let me make sure it's lit for
All
you.
right, there you go. Santa Barbara County disbanded its cannabis enforcement team due to declining revenues and fewer illegal grow operations. Cannabis tax revenue dropped from $15.7 million in 2021 to $5.4 million in 2024 to 2025. The $2 million annual cost of the team, including $19,185 monthly lease for office and warehouse space, became unsustainable. The county is reallocating funds to other priorities, like Santa Barbara putting the bud in budget cuts. Time to roll with the changes, folks. Now over to you, Mrs. Weedman.
Yeah, I got some. Oh, no. I just closed my whole file.
That's all right.
Here, Mr. Weedman.
Thanks for the lighter.
There's a lighter. Hang on, I got to get back in order here, people.
You wanted to
I
smoke
checked
more.
my email for a second.
See?
Oh, my.
Mrs. Weedman,
Sorry.
though.
We're
This bud's
getting
pretty
back.
good. Midnight Tokers, thank you for the J. You got me lit. Mrs. Weedman can't find her fucking
What is
podcast
happening?
notes. She just lost it.
Hold on,
everybody.
Mr. Weedman.
I have to
tight.
hold on?
No, I'm going to find it right now.
You still can't find
I'm
it.
getting it.
Oh my!
I'm really
everybody,
baked on top of
The show
it.
is over.
Here it is.
I know.
Political, state, and business news. That was just a comedic pause.
There we go.
That's what that was. All right. Ready? I got some news for you. Hemp drinks are bubbling up. They're projected to hit $30 billion by 2035. Sold in bars, convenience stores, and even concert venues, they are challenging alcohol's dominance. But with over 80 state bills aiming to regulate them, the buzz is getting political. Looks like hemp's not just for making rope anymore, people. It is stirring up the drink scene. 500 federal agents and soldiers raided marijuana farms in Riverside County, California, arresting approximately 70 individuals. The operation aimed to dismantle illegal grow operations and combat organized crime. Looks like the DEA's got a new motto, go big or go home, and they're definitely not going home. Congress is eyeing a federal spending bill that could ban all consumable hemp products. Including CBD, by redefining hemp to exclude cannabinoids, while a report clarifies that non-intoxicating products with trace THC aren't the target. The legislation itself remains unchanged, leaving the industry on edge. Looks like Congress is trying to pull the hemp rug out from under us. It's time to roll with the punches, folks. New York's Office of Cannabis Management just dropped the first round of grants to help justice-involved entrepreneurs kickstart their cannabis businesses. Applicants need at least $10,000 in eligible expenses and must be in full compliance with state and local cannabis regulations. California's Department of Cannabis Control is offering up to $30 million in grants to public universities for cannabis research. This funding, part of a broader $80 million initiative, aims to fill knowledge gaps and guide future policies on topics like health impacts, crop yields, and public safety. Ohio GOP lawmakers were set to vote on amending the state's voter-approved marijuana law, but internal disagreements have derailed the plan. With the summer recess approaching, it is unclear when or if a deal will be struck. Looks like Ohio's cannabis reform is on pause while they take a summer break from the green rush. That would be so annoying to be part of that still. If you're just waiting, I mean, we're all waiting, right? We're all waiting for laws to change and legalization to change.
Right.
But Ohio is already legal, and now they're going back and changing the whole plan.
And they're finding out that they can't, though.
But everything's in this limbo
Right.
of everybody oh my God, what's going to happen, right?
We love you, Ohio.
Yeah, we do. Good luck. South Dakota is cracking down on synthetic hemp products starting July 14th. Law enforcement will seize items containing Delta 8 THC, Delta 10 THC, THCO and HHC. Violators will face Class 2 misdemeanor charges with penalties up to $500 per product. Goofy. Arizona's court showdown over hemp-derived THC products is heating up. A judge will soon decide if gas stations and smoke shops can sell THC-infused gummies and drinks. The state argues only licensed dispensaries can sell these products, while the Hemp Industry Trade Association pushes back. Looks like Arizona's got a legal joint venture. Let's see if the judge rolls with the hemp crowd. Ross Ulbricht, the Silk Road mastermind, is out after Trump's pardon. Now he's calling for the release of other nonviolent offenders. Democrats are raising eyebrows, especially since Ulbricht ran a massive dark web drug market. Some say it's a win for justice reform. Others, not so much. A recent review by advocacy groups reveals that as marijuana legalization spreads, justice remains elusive for many with past convictions. Despite state efforts, many individuals still face barriers to expungement and record sealing, leaving them with lingering consequences. The green wave sure missed some folks. It's time to roll out true justice for all. A new poll reveals that 70% of U.S. voters support ending federal marijuana prohibition. Additionally, 48% said they view the Trump administration they would view the administration more favorably if it took action on cannabis reform. The strengthening the 10th Amendment through entrusting or states 2.0 Act, which would end federal marijuana prohibition in states that have legalized it, has 61% support among Americans. Big news in the cannabis world. High Times is back. Yep, magazine. Raw Rolling Papers founder Josh Kesselman and former High Times co-owner Matt Stang just acquired the iconic brand for $3.5 million. That's pretty fair deal, right? That's a big brand. It seems like a deal.
For a magazine that was in the toilet. Yeah.
Right.
That's a good deal.
I mean, they've got clout. They can bring it back.
Yeah.
They just need to redo it.
I've been keeping
It needs a
rebranding.
Yeah.
It needs to be put back to where it was. Stop trying to put your money in dispensaries and spending all your money there when you had good journalism and a good thing going, for a very, very, since 1974. Mm-hmm. I heard
everything went digital and it just kind of made them plateau a little bit.
Right. But they kind of got stale. Yeah. And they didn't keep up with what, and hopefully, because the owner of Raw is pretty crazy, isn't he? He's does a lot of kooky stuff and fun stuff. He does a lot of interesting
not crazy
things.
Not in
a bad way. Just
very,
crazy fun stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Super kind.
Yes. Yeah. So I know he's gotten some shit over the last couple of years with some bad write-ups and stuff like that, but the stuff that I see he does,
he cares about his product.
Right.
He puts out good product.
Yeah. And hopefully they can bring it back and bring it to its former glory, for all of us stoners, burners, and potheads that have been reading that magazine forever. When you go to a tattoo parlor, you always sat there and read fucking High Times magazine. When I was, they always had them in the tattoo parlors I went to. Go ahead, finish. Sorry, Ms. Weedman.
Well, he's bringing back the Cannabis Cup with third-party judging and no pay-to-play. Plus, expect limited edition print magazines. That would be cool. And a refreshed digital platform celebrating 50 years of cannabis culture. High Times is back in action, and it looks like the Green Revolution just got a reboot. So now I am passing the news back over to you, Mr. Weedman.
Here's the joint back to you, Mrs. Weedman.
Thanks.
Nebraska Attorney General, not this guy again, Mike Higglers. Oh my God, this guy is cracking down on Lincoln retailers. He's issued a cease and desist letters to 80 tour stores selling THC products that are allegedly mislabeled and exceed legal limits. Investigations found over 90% of products had inaccurate labels, and many contained Delta 9 THC levels over the legal threshold. Stores have been ordered to halt sales and sign compliance agreements or face litigation. That guy, he irks the shit out of me. Arkansas medical marijuana sales have reached $121 million in 2025, a 6.3% increase from last year. with 32,474 pounds sold and 109,854 active patients. That's pretty good. You fucking folks in Arkansas, man, like your shit. I love you. For 109,000, smoked 32,000 pounds of weed. Love you. The state is on track to surpass its 2023 record of 283 million. Looks like Arkansas is rolling in the green, both the plant and revenue. Cosmic Brands has just unveiled the world's largest THC-infused gummy, tipping the scales at a mind-blowing 286 pounds. This thing was monstrous. And packaging 939,700 milligrams of THC. That's a lot. The monumental gummy was revealed on June 13th event in Edmond, Oklahoma, celebrating summer and supporting veterans through Hero Grown, a nonprofit aiming to reduce medical cannabis costs for veterans and first responders. All veterans and first responders should get free weed. They should get free weed, and just take that tax money that you rob from us that we spend at the dispensary, and take some of those millions and just give it to a vet. They deserve it. That's one way to take your edibles to the next level. Just don't try to eat them all at once, Mrs. Weedman. I saw the picture. This thing was monstrous. Texas is expanding its medical marijuana program. Governor Greg Abbott signed a bill adding chronic pain, traumatic brain injury, Crohn's disease, and end-of-life care to qualifying conditions. Patients can now access more product types, including patches and inhalers, and the number of dispensaries is increasing. Looks like Texas is taking the high road, expanding access and leaving the band behind.
End-of-life care isn't just like a given for cannabis, for medical cannabis?
No. I guess not in Texas.
I didn't know that.
Well, not in Texas, it wasn't.
Like, that should be like condition number one in every place.
Fuck, you're going to die. Just do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Eat, drink, smoke.
You can get all these like toxic
go streaking.
medicines.
Do whatever you got to do. It's your end of your life.
But you might not be able to get weed.
It's crazy, isn't it? Here's the biggie. You ready?
Yeah.
This is big. So big. And I'm so proud of the governor of Texas. Texas Governor Greg Abbott vetoed Senate Bill 3, which aimed to ban all THC products, including Delta-8. The veto came after a strong opposition from veterans, the hemp industry, and small businesses. Abbott called for a special session to regulate hemp products like alcohol. Go Texas. All right.
Yeah, that got scary for hemp-derived businesses.
His lieutenant governor is such a douche. Went back on another... I was fooled. I was bamboozled. I was hornswoggled. I thought Greg Abbott was going to veto this, and he didn't. I don't know. He was crying like a little bitch. I'm going to fight this. I'm going to go after Abbott. He was just, this dude is a bitch. I read an article like later, like before I already got the show done. So it came out like later this evening. And he was bitching and moaning and crying. This dude, I tell you what, man, shut the fuck up. Your governor did it right for the people. For the people. That's who he did it for. His constituents. Not for you. For his constituents who want legal cannabis. And he expanded the medical program. Texas, if you legalize weed, you'd be top 3 market in the country. 4. I'm telling you right now, the tax revenue, you'd be able to fix everything. You say you like doing things big. Do weed big. Have fun with it. Austin would kill it. Houston would kill it. Dallas, San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, all those cities. Man, they got to go across the border, Oklahoma, and everywhere else they could try to get their weed. And you were about to take the hemp away from them. And that was a big deal. Lieutenant governor of that state, I don't even know your name. I forgot it, and I don't care. But Abbott, I'm proud of you. Thank you for doing that for your constituents and for the people. New Jersey Cannabis Training Academy has finalized its curriculum offering over 60 free courses to help entrepreneurs navigate the legal cannabis industry. Launched by the New Jersey Business Action Center and supported by the Cannabis Regulatory Commission, the program has enrolled over 1,300 participants since October 2024. Looks like New Jersey is rolling out the green carpet for aspiring cannabis entrepreneurs. No application fee required. That's awesome. That's taking the tax dollars from cannabis and putting it back to the people.
Right.
And giving it back so people... It's so hard to learn how to build a cannabis business if you've never done it before and you want to learn, you want to do it. It's your right. If you love cannabis and you want to get into the industry and you can't because all the MSOs and all the big...
Too much money.
Cost prohibitive. This can teach you how to streamline how to do it. Instead of hiring a company to help you and spend millions of dollars that they'll rape you, be walking around funny for weeks. Sorry, Miss Weedman. The state is actually giving you an opportunity. That's pretty badass. Way to go, Jersey, the place I was born. In a recent filing with the U.S. Supreme Court, the Trump-led Department of Justice argues that allowing marijuana users to possess firearms poses a clear danger. The DOJ maintains that the federal ban on gun ownership for cannabis consumers is necessary and narrowly tailored to survive legal challenges. Looks like the debate over guns and weed just got a little more loaded. Everybody, we have a Second Amendment right. Whether you smoke cannabis or not, you have a Second Amendment right to bear arms. The right to bear arms is your right. It doesn't say in there, if you smoke marijuana or if you drink alcohol, which I know read more people on alcohol have killed people with guns than marijuana smokers have killed people with guns. So if you smoke marijuana, it says in the Constitution, the Second Amendment, if you smoke marijuana, you can't own a gun. And if you believe me, I got ice to sell you in the desert right now because it's hot. So I'm telling you, they cannot take the Second Amendment. They have to change the whole entire law. It ain't going to happen. It hasn't happened yet, and they've been trying to get that off. They've been trying to fix the Second Amendment forever, and no one get it passed. So it is your right in this country to bear arms, even if you smoke cannabis. Can't take that away. It's written in our Constitution, everybody. In a groundbreaking mission, scientists have sent cannabis seeds into space aboard SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. The MayaSat-1 incubator developed by Slovenia's Genoplant Research Institute will expose the seeds to intense radiation in low Earth orbit to study their resilience and potential to extraterrestrial agriculture. It looks like cannabis is aiming for the stars. Talk about a high-flying experiment. Colorado Springs, that we were just talking about, the fight to legalize recreational weed in Colorado Springs. So listen to this. You ready for this, Mrs. Weedman?
I'm ready.
Colorado Springs dispensaries have experienced a 400 to 450% increase in customer traffic since April 15th when recreational marijuana sales became legal.
Wow.
Managers report that recreational users now outnumber medical patients, leading to expanded product offerings and significant staffing increases. Looks like Colorado Springs is rolling in the green, both the plant and the revenue. And they didn't want it. And look, your peoples are happy. You bought the weeds in Colorado Springs. Now they can go fucking smoke and then go take a walk in the Garden of the Gods.
That's right.
You know? Legends Be Real, Method Man, and Mike Tyson are planting seeds. Literally, they're launching cannabis seed brands to shape genetics and culture from the ground up. It's a new era where cannabis cultivation meets nearby influence. These icons are betting on seeds to grow the future. From the stage to the soil, these legends are cultivating more than just beats and punches. What did I say a few months back? The seed industry, the cannabis seed industry, genetics industry is going to be like a $5 billion industry by in the next like 10 years, 5 years. So they see that is to build another brand.
Yeah.
Is their genetics going to be good? I have no fucking idea. I know the people who I have had on the Grow Hour, their genetics are some of the best genetics I've ever experienced. So I don't know if their genetics will be any good or not, but they're seeing the future.
Right.
You know? So this legal hack could save the pot companies time and money. A little bit of business news here by Mrs. Weedman. Tell us about it.
Yeah.
Might be boring for some, but for some trying to start a business is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Disagreements are part of any business. However, in the cannabis world, where regulations shift constantly and reputations hang by a thread, traditional court battles can be a recipe for disaster. That's where alternative dispute resolution, or ADR, comes in. ADR, most commonly in the form of mediation and arbitration, allows you to sort out problems more quickly, quietly, and cost-effectively, all while preserving the relationship that matters most in this tight-knit industry. At its core, ADR, alternative dispute resolution, is simply a way to resolve disputes without the formality, expense, and public record of a lawsuit. Mediation involves a neutral facilitator, or the mediator, who guides both sides through open, solution-focused conversations. Thus, you and your business partner, supplier, or investor stay in control of the outcome rather than just handling the decision or handing the decision to a judge. Arbitration is a bit more structured, though. A neutral arbitrator listens to evidence and makes a binding decision, but without the full procedural weight of a courtroom. Both approaches happen privately on a timetable you set together, and they usually cost a fraction of what litigation does. So why does the cannabis industry need ADR? Well, it's efficient on speed and cost. You can't afford to be stuck in a 2-year court backlog in an industry where new product lines, licensing deadlines, and investor campaigns move fast. And legal fees in cannabis can escalate quickly. ADR helps keep those costs under control. There is a confidentiality factor. Court filings become public record. That's a problem if you're still fighting for market share, negotiating licensing terms, or navigating shifting regulations. ADR sessions are private, so sensitive financial information, trade secrets, or personal reputations stay out of the public eye. And there's relationship preservation. Litigation often leaves both parties worse off and relationships irreparably damaged. Mediation focuses on collaboration and shared solutions. Even arbitration tends to be less combative than a courtroom battle, making it easier to maintain future business relationships. Not every mediator or arbitrator understands the intricacies of cannabis law. To get the most from ADR, your neutral third party should know state-by-state rules. Each state from California to New York has its own licensing quirks, testing requirements, and packaging mandates. A cannabis-focused ADR specialist can navigate these complexities so your resolution plan works when it's in practice. They should understand industry pressures like cash flow issues, supply chain snags, and fast-evolving consumer trends that are all part of the cannabis landscape. A mediator who understands your business challenges can help create practical, workable solutions. You need someone who can anticipate compliance risks. Cannabis companies operate under intense regulatory scrutiny. Your ADR process should resolve any current conflict and help prevent future compliance issues, whether that means updating a joint venture agreement or revising quality control standards. And they should be able to facilitate cross-border deals. If you work with partners across state lines, you'll face overlapping and sometimes conflicting legal framework. Look for ADR professionals with experience handling multi-jurisdictional cannabis disputes. They'll help tailor a process that respects the laws in each location. It's best to talk to counsel early if you sense a conflict on the horizon, maybe over a product launch, a revenue sharing formula, or licensing costs. Work with your attorney to include ADR provisions in your contracts from the start. Be sure to choose the right clause. Decide whether mediation, arbitration, or a combination of both fits your business needs and risk tolerance. Some companies prefer to try mediation first, then move to arbitration if that doesn't work. Just pick your neutrals carefully. Interview potential mediators or arbitrators about their experience with cannabis. Ask for case studies or reference from others in the industry, whether they're cultivators, distributors, or ancillary businesses. And be sure to stay flexible. ADR works best when it's tailored to the dispute. Some issues may only require a short phone conference, while others could benefit from a multi-day in-person session. In an industry defined by change, speed, and sensitivity, alternative dispute resolution isn't just an alternative, it's often the smartest choice. By resolving disputes outside the courtroom in a confidential, collaborative setting, cannabis businesses can continue innovating, protect their reputations, and preserve the relationship that drives growth. Whether you're dealing with supply chain hiccups or settling equity disputes, alternative dispute resolution offers a clear and a cost-effective way forward. With the right legal support and the right neutral professionals, resolving conflict doesn't have to be another high-stakes gamble.
Lot to know.
Yeah.
In this industry.
Yeah.
It ain't like you just, out of your house.
I didn't know that. Like, I've known people who are attorneys and mediators, but I didn't really understand that the difference that you don't go to court then. It's neat.
Rather not go to court. Let's figure it out. International news. Aurora Cannabis faces a class action lawsuit after a Canadian Forces veteran developed cannabis hyperkinesia syndrome. The Ontario Super Court certified the suit, alleging Aurora failed to warn consumers about CHS risk. Affected individuals who purchased Aurora products between 2014 and 2025 may be eligible to join. That's the scary thing right now, because there are people getting cannabis hyperkinesia syndrome and they could blame it on that dispensary or that grower. Yeah. It's kind of scary right now. Warning signs, can induce CHS. You might have to start pulling that on your label because someone can do what these people are doing in Canada. Scary. In ancient India, cannabis wasn't just a plant. It was a spiritual companion. Yogis and sadhus have used cannabis, particularly bhang, to enhance meditation and connect with the divine. The sacred practice rooted in the Vedas intertwines cannabis with spiritual rituals and conscientious expansion. From the Vedas to the Chilam, cannabis has been lighting the path to enlightenment for centuries, Mrs. Weedman. In Tibet, under Chinese law, CBD is legal, but cannabis is illegal despite its sacred medicinal past. It's crazy, right? Because, I mean, you have the Himalayan mountains that where indica came from, and now China has got these people in Tibet scared. Ancient Tibetan medicine, inspired by Ayurveda, used cannabis for skin and lymph ailments, and Tantric Buddhists smoked it to deepen meditation. Hemp thrives there now, worn as a durable fabric in the Lhasa markets. Modern regulation ban use, but industrial hemp cultivation continues. From spiritual halls to fashion stalls, Tibet hemp game is strong. Argentina's cannabis story has been a wild ride. Legal medicinal use since 2017. ReproCan, the registry, launched in 2020, but now Security Minister Bullrich plans to revoke all 300,000 medical cultivation permits, citing illegal diversion. The backlash was swift. Legal experts warn of unconstitutional overreach, while officials say they'll just reformulate instead. From green gains to permanent pains, Argentina's cannabis drama just hit a full plot twist, Mrs. Weedman. Jamaican Rastafari grower Ross Jeremiah Jackson just scored a win in the Westmoreland Parish Court. Charges dropped after proving his ceremonial ganja cultivation was legal under Rastafari sacramental rites. He's now considering suing for police abuse after his 76 pounds of grow gear was seized and later returned. From court showdown to herb show-off, Jermaine Jackson turning the confiscation into celebration. Canadian cannabis sales bounced back in April. Retail hit $466.7 million, a 5.7% increase from March, and a 6.6% year-over-year growth powered by lower flower prices and more stores. Growth has cooled from the 20.3% surge in August, but remains steady. Total sales are up 4.3% so far in 2025. Canada's green market is doing the cha-cha cooling pace, but still got the moves. Nigerian singer Terry G just lit up X, formerly Twitter, claiming he pioneered on-screen cannabis smoking in the country's music scene. But fans were quick to say, hold up, fella, was puffing loud before Terry picked up the mic. Still, the Free Madness star insists his sacrifice made it cool for artists to blaze on cam today. Looks like Terry's staking the claim on screen smoke history. Pass the mic and the LGBO, bro.
You lost me on that one, Mr. Weedman.
This singer in Nigeria.
I get it.
Got it. UK cultivator Glass Farms just inked a deal with the Ma Medica Clinic, a major milestone for domestic medical cannabis. Glass Farms will grow varied clinician-led strains, including THC and CB Downs flower, meeting strict microbial standards for Ma Medica's branded products. The deal cuts reliance on imports and boosts homegrown quality and consistency for patients. UK's cannabis game just got a little glow up. Domestic flower for the win, because they import. Kelly Stafford, Matt Stafford's wife, a professional football player, right?
Yeah.
She takes weed gummies.
Yeah, she does.
Why does she?
Yeah. She says that taking weed gummies makes her a better parent to her 4 daughters. She said, they calm me.
There you go.
The 36-year-old mother of 4 detailed her feelings about weed gummies on the June 16th episode of her podcast, The Morning After. Sometimes I feel like gummies make me a better parent. Kelly, who is married to NFL star Matthew Stafford, shared. They calm me. It's like a glass of wine. Podcast guest Kit Hoover affirmed Kelly's assertion, saying, I call it the glass of patience. By the time you get to bed and bath time, it just makes you a better parent. Kelly appreciated Hoover's response, admitting, I feel a little guilty saying that, and it's not like I do it every night, but sometimes I'm like, shit, it has been a really long day. I don't want to rip my hair out or theirs, so I'm just going to top it off with a little gummy. Hoover urged Kelly to cut herself some slack, especially when it's a shitty day or the kids are acting nuts or you've just had enough. Kelly added, this is what Matthew always tells me. He's like, as long as they're in bed, fed, happy, and they feel loved, who cares? Kelly added that while she feels a little guilt when she takes a gummy before dealing with her kids, even they notice the positive difference. My kids and I laugh, and I feel like they're like, wow, mommy's nice tonight, Kelly added. So, hey, if it can help you through a long day and a hard day.
I mean, 4 girls.
Yeah, that'd be rough. That's rough. A lot.
That's a lot. It's not, you know, and all in that 2-year age group too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we raised 2 in a 2-year age group, and I mean, imagine 4.
No.
No. Mr. Weedman wanted to have more Miss Weedman, like, no. She was like Flipper the dolphin.
Yeah.
Nope. 2 was enough. Miss Weedman said, you raise them then if you want to have more. Actually, you said you have them if you want to. She goes, you pop 2 out. I'm like,
Figure out a way to have
I can't
those.
do that.
Yeah, you can have a whole bunch more. You make that happen, you have as many as you want.
I'd be fucking walking around with some
miracle.
Money. Yeah, it would be. Jeez. Wiz Khalifa told Jimmy Kimmel he smokes 30 joints a day.
Dang.
About 1.75 an hour. Even while working out, parenting, and recording. He calls it his mental exercise, to do normal things stoned. It's one high daily hustle. Bro's got a joint in one hand and a dumbbell in the other. Talk about multitasking, Mrs. Weedman.
Yeah.
I just read, too, that poor old Willie Nelson.
Why?
Can't smoke weed anymore. Now, we read an article a few years ago about him saying he doesn't smoke weed anymore, but I guess he said he started again.
Okay.
So, and he just can't do it anymore. Oh. He's like 90, like almost 100, I think, like 95 or some shit. So, I mean, he's been smoking forever.
That's nuts.
He's been smoking poppy since he was like
probably
in his 20s.
Yeah.
Maybe even earlier.
70 years.
Yeah.
Or something.
I mean, there's only so much your throat can take.
Smoked that long.
Yeah, I know. Crazy. But he still takes edibles. And I know, like I said, we talked about it a few years ago. But he came out again and said, this time's for real. For reals.
For reals.
I can't smoke. But, I mean, if I was, I know it's tough. It's got to be tough. Because I think he smoked cigarettes, too, for a long time. He smoked Marlboro Reds. Oof, cowboy killers. Oof. But good old Willie, at least he can still use the plant, in some ways. Tinctures, bombs, teas. Do mushrooms, Willie. Make a mushroom tea.
Go out with a bang.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
It'll melt your face off.
I'd like to thank Midwest Tokers, or Midnight Tokers, for the flower. Appreciate you throwing to the cause. I got it right here. I got his card.
It's good.
Gave me his card. Pretty baked. I'm stoning. We saved some for tonight for bed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. So Midnight Tokers.
Nighty night. I'm going to be a Midnight Toker.
So one of our favorite songs too, Steve Miller.
Yeah.
I'm a Midnight Toker. Don't want to hurt no one. Right?
That's right.
So Midnight Tokers, thank you so much for the weed. We appreciate you. Mr. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
That's the end of the show.
That's it.
Got anything else to say?
You have a great week, everybody. And I'm baked. Mr. Weedman.
Hey, everybody out there in the world, we love you. Thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the love. Thanks for all the kindness. Please be kind to everybody out there. As Paulie always says, smoke smart, puff puffing away.
Puff puff pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 decades because a ninth decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.